What's up, Cityverse? It's your boy New York City. That is New York CIDDY. And when y'all here, don't forget to do y'all job and smash that subscribe button. Huh! Let's go.
City boy, city boy.
This is New York. This is New York. This is New York. This is New York. This is New York.
New York, New York, New York, New York.
Here we are, week 2, where the New York Giants take on the Washington Commanders. The Giants are coming fresh off a loss to the Minnesota Vikings, losing 28-6. And also, the Washington Commanders are coming off a fresh loss from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where they lost the game 37-20. Y'all gotta excuse me, man. I just woke back up. I had to watch the game to get the breakdown of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game against the Washington Commanders. I had a long day yesterday. I actually wanted to get this video done earlier, but nonetheless, I had to give the people what they want. I had to give the people what they need, and I had to give the people what they deserve. Not only do I want that, but I need that. You feel me? So with this breakdown, I'm just gonna be honest. What I seen in the game against the Buccaneers, because I just finished watching the game. It's like 3:30 in the morning, man, and I had to give y'all this. But what I seen from the Washington Commanders and the young rookie Jayden Daniels is the Giants should absolutely eat in this game. There's no reason why we should lose this game. This is the perfect game for us to right the ship, and I'm so glad that this game took place now. Week 2, coming up fresh off that loss. We got a chance to be able to right the ship pretty early in the season with a team that kind of is somewhere in the same place as far as now their quarterback's a rookie, but as far as the team in itself, there's a lot of opportunity to be had, man. I just want to be frank with it. We should dominate these boys, man. I got my notes right here. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but I want to talk about Jayden Daniels and what I seen against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from him. The kid's exciting to watch. Now, did he have a lot of passing yards in the game? No. If I'm not mistaken, he ended up having 17. He was 17-24 with 184 yards. He had 0 touchdowns and 0 passing touchdowns. But he also had 16 carries for 88 rushing yards and a rushing TD. So you got to throw that in there. That has to be accounted for. What I seen from him is the dude's quick. He is fast, and you have to know where he's at. They design plays for him to rush. Not only whenever the play breaks down, he can use his legs, but the coach, that's what happened when you have a good coach. And I'm hoping to see a lot of the same thing from Brian Dable, where you use more creativity, because the plays that they had designed for him to run, those were really good creative plays, not only for just him, but the offense in themselves. I seen them have I can't remember, it was almost like a flea flicker pass where they tried to, I'm pretty sure that was them. They had tried to use a guy that used to play quarterback or whatever, and he wanted to throw the ball, but instead of throwing the ball, he ended up running the ball because there was nothing open, which was an absolutely good idea. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say that was Washington that did that instead of the Bucs. But nonetheless, they're pretty creative with their play calling. As far as they team in the rushing, they're pretty good running the ball. That is something that we have to watch for. That is something we can't take lightly. They had 138 rushing yards. Like I said, Jayden Daniels had 88 of those yards, but they had 30 carries total, and they averaged out a 4.6 yards per carry. So that ain't light work, bro. You have to watch the run game. This is a game where we should be able to see what our defense is made of, because not only should this be a big game for Daniel Jones, who typically has his biggest game against the Washington Commanders. His record against the Commanders, if I'm not mistaken, is like 5-1-1. There was one year where we tied with them, but he normally has his biggest game. So this will be a really good game for him to shake out of that little slump he had in the first game, and the little slump he had during the preseason too. You know, like I said, he's coming fresh off the injury in my last video, so I already assumed it was going to take 2 or 3 games. But after watching the footage of the Commanders game, this is the game where Daniel has to step up. He has to step up. There's no way around it. There was too many opportunities for him, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where the Commanders either blown a coverage or they got beat deep. And this is where I think Daniel Jones is going to have a big game throwing. This is where he's going to, if the opportunity presents itself, there's no reason Daniel Jones shouldn't be able to make these throws. This is the kind of game that people that dislike Daniel Jones or the people that do like Daniel Jones, this is what they should be able to see. This game should be the example because there was plenty of opportunities deep as far as the passing game goes from Tampa Bay. They were getting people wide open. They missed a couple of throws. They probably could have, Baker really on the real, he probably should have had like five, 6 touchdowns if I'm keeping it a book. Because I know there was one pass where he threw it deep to a rookie. He dropped, it was off his fingertips. He ended up redeeming himself later on. But with that being said, there was plenty of opportunities as far as, okay, make these throws. And also in this game, Daniel Jones, there's going to be throws that he needs to make. These are what NFL quarterbacks are made of, where you got to fit it in those windows. As far as I seen Baker Mayfield, who was, if y'all don't remember a couple years ago where Baker Mayfield took a shot at Daniel Jones, like, how can you draft Daniel Jones? And then Daniel Jones goes out there and beat Baker Mayfield. So Daniel Jones, you can't let Baker Mayfield outwork you, bro. You have to give the Commanders the work in this game. So let's get into these notes. And I'm really excited about this game. I'm going to get straight to the notes. There's a fun fact that I heard when I was watching the game a while ago. They said it has been 22 games where the Commanders hasn't had an individual rusher rush for 100 yards. And that's why this game is going to say not a lot just about Daniel Jones, but for our defense. There is no excuse. I don't want to be the first team that the Commanders get a 100-yard rusher, bro. And how Jayden Daniels was looking with his 88 yards, he was 12 yards away from 100 against the Buccaneers. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that team, bro. I don't want to have to put on the clown activity outfit because we let him cook us up and carve us, man. What I seen from Jayden Daniels, they got a lot to be excited about as far as the Washington Commanders and their quarterback situation. He's actually quick. He makes decisions quick. Not only does he make decisions quick, but he's quick and he's fast and he can make people miss. He has a little issue sliding, but outside of that, he knows how to use his legs and when to use his legs. He's able to make throws, tight window throws. It wasn't really too many of those in this, but I seen where he was putting in where that's what an NFL quarterback should do in a rookie. And that's the thing. That's where some of the fans feel kind of iffy about Daniel Jones, that if I'm keeping it a buck with y'all, that those are the kind of throws that an NFL quarterback should be able to make. I don't think we've seen that as of late from Daniel Jones. But you got to remember, it's been 6 years since Daniel Jones been in the league. And not all of those years was just bad on him. You got to remember where we had Kenny Golladay, who was a bum, who really didn't do anything for us. We had people like Evan Ingram, which he's balling now for the Jaguars. But when he was here with us, it wasn't that Daniel Jones wasn't producing. Himself, Evan Ingram had a lot of drops. It's also where Darius Slayton had a whole bunch of drops, which Darius Slayton redeemed himself last year. And I'm proud of him for that because I ain't gonna lie, like Darius Slayton, I was kind of iffy on him as far as if I would rather trade him or whatever, even though he was our most producing receiver. It was just like he wasn't catching the ball when the opportunity presented itself consistently enough. But he righted the ship last year. I think he only had like 2 drops, and that's good. We have a very explosive receiving core, and all the Washington Commanders had was Terry McLaurin. And if Deonte Banks do what he's supposed to do against Terry McLaurin, then we should be good because they really don't have a number 2 or 3 receiver outside of him. They got that rookie that I mentioned earlier, which he could have had 2 touchdowns. I know he ended up having a touchdown later on. But nonetheless, we should be able to have a field day passing the ball. You know, I can't even make excuses for Daniel Jones on this one. Now, the one thing I like to say about them, the Washington Commanders, also another fun fact. They gave up 65 sacks last year, which is pretty bad. I know the Giants think they gave up 83 last year, which was the most in the league. And yeah, that's really bad as far as the Giants. But also that was bad on the Commanders' behalf because 65 sacks is still 65 sacks, which brings our defense into play, man. Um, there's no reason Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns should not be in the backfield wreaking havoc, man. There's no reason why that shouldn't happen. I think I also seen that Nick McLeod is going to be out on this game. I don't know who our number 2 corner is going to be. Me, personally, I'm praying that my cousin Trey Hawkins gets to start. Number 37, if he gets to be out there. I hope he get to make a name for himself like Gambit out there, you know. So, yeah, like there's no reason why we shouldn't absolutely win this game. Now we know how Daniel Jones' performance was against Minnesota. It was shaky to say the least. You know, he was 22 of 42 with 186 passing yards. He had 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, which isn't good. It's not good at all. However, also I gotta look into the fact that we had rushed him, but he also had 6 rushes for 15 yards. But we also had where we ran the ball and we were unable to really run the ball. I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, how many carries did we have? I think it was like 21 carries. I can't remember how many carries we had, but by the end of it, when I did the breakdown, we averaged 3.5 yards a carry, which isn't the worst, but it definitely could have been better. And this is a game where we should have the opportunity. And I also got to take into account after a while we was behind on the scoreboard. There's only so much running you can do. But nonetheless, we should be able to run the ball against these boys. Now I will say that their run game, their run stop, I know the Bucks average like 3.8, 3.9 against them. But they did have a solid run stop defense from what I seen. It was enough for me to be like, okay, we're gonna have to be able to pass the ball against these boys. Not strictly, but it was enough for me to be like, okay, they're keeping the Bucks honest. You can't just run and call the Commanders up by just running the ball in the first game. Now, that was the first game. But as far as overall, you should be able to win this game passing. There's no reason we can't have a whole bunch of yards. We have Malik Neighbors, who was actually on the injury report earlier this week, who's being cleared to play tomorrow on Sunday, 12 p.m. Central Time. Let me get that right. Yeah, 12 p.m. Central Time against the Commanders. He's going to be there. We still have Jalen Hyatt. We still have Darius Slayton. We still have Wandale Robinson. We still got Theo Johnson, which is our rookie tight end, and Daniel Bellinger. So there's no reason they shouldn't be able to get open. Hopefully our O-line does their job and be able to block and give Daniel Jones enough confidence, because this game right here is really a game that can really not only boost the confidence of Daniel Jones, but it should boost the confidence of the whole team if they come fresh off of a hot win. This, honestly, bro, I ain't gonna say blowout because that'd be crazy to say with this team. We've been bad for so long. However, we should win and convict. I think it's gonna be a game where us as fans are gonna be able to sleep easier at night, and not be so stressed out going for the rest of the week. And I hope this game right here, Daniel Jones shuts people up. And then of course you're not gonna just shut everybody up at the one game, because you know how they go. If he cars up the Commanders, they gonna say it's the Commanders. He always does good against the Commanders. And to be honest, I wouldn't blame them if they said that this time, because Daniel Jones, you my boy, but we need to see consistency out of you. In this game right here, if you don't do it, man, the building is covered in goddamn gasoline, and all they gotta do is light the matches. And in my last video that I made supporting you, I said, hey, if the building's on fire, I'm burning with you, my boy, and I will be crucified. So Daniel, don't let me down, my dog. Don't let me down, dog. Like, that's all I'm asking, man. I'm up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get this video done, man. Don't let me down. So yeah, it's something that we got to look forward to. I also seen that the Commanders had plenty of penalties. They had I said they had their fair share of penalties, but they also had their fair share of mental mistakes where some of the balls might have got thrown backwards and it might have been a fumble where they lost yards or penalty at a crucial time where they didn't need that to happen. But I can't really say nothing because we had 9 penalties last week for 95 yards, and that hurt us a lot too. So we got to keep all these things in mind going forward, looking into this game. Um, I'm not sure, like as far as Brian Dable, I hope he opens up the offense a little bit more. I'm hoping we see a little bit more creativity because there's no reason why we shouldn't have thrown the ball over 20. We didn't throw a pass over 20 yards one time last week. And I get it, like it wasn't O-line got to do their job, but this is going to be the second game where they're playing together. Hopefully they learned something from watching film this week. And they're ready to right the ship. It's still early in the season, but to be honest, there's absolutely no reason that we shouldn't win this game, man. And that's going to be my breakdown for this game against the Washington Commanders. We're looking forward to it. I'll see y'all on Sunday. Until next time, peace.